Wow. Come and get the best of me. Come and get the best of me. I work shows cause I cook flows. That's the recipe. Come and get the best of me. Come and get the best of me. We work shows cause we cook flows. Every day we keep it working. Yeah. Every day we keep it working.
Good morning, dude. Good. Whoa.
Alright, so good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very special day. It's our first day of accomplishment through music, and I want to cook something very nice for us, and I want to show you a little bit of what is the best way to just make a pepper and lemon chicken in a very easy way, but also with the instructions that follow through with it accordingly. And I think we should start. So the first step always is to wash your hands, so that's what I'm gonna do. Right, so just like you wash your hands, because there's bacteria, because it's a meat also, what you have to do is you have to wash the meat as well. What you do pretty much is you don't wash it with too much hot water, you don't wash it with too much cold water, because that's gonna make the meat have a different texture, you know? It can ruin the texture if it's too hot or too cold. So what you do, or if it's too hot. So what you do is you put it to the half and you let it run, you know? And then you rub on it. As you see, the water is turning a little bit more, as we could say, dirty in a way. And you see all those things that are in the water is exactly what you don't need to eat. So it's washed now, right? By the way, I'm cooking with Ben, my best friend and music producer, and for now cook assistant. And then you lay the meat, right? What you do now is you take a knife. As you can see, take a knife. And now this is a tricky part, right? When you cook the chicken, especially if it's not bio, you know, it always has this extra fat, as you can see. But you have to difference which fat is to eat and which is not. So what you do is, you see here, you pretty much cut right through the middle. You cut right through the middle. You see, and automatically you see how this meat just moved to the side. This is actual meat that it has fat, but you can still eat. And if you don't want to eat fat, it's rather you don't even eat this part of the meat. But me, I need fat. I just don't need unhealthy fat. So then you will see it has two different colors. It has pink and it has white, and then it has this one which is kind of more yellow. Well, this yellow, my people, is exactly what you need to cut off. Cut it off. There it goes. So once you cut one side, it's gonna reveal perfectly to tear off for the other side. It's just easy to move away now. So, and now I do the same with the other pieces. So what's up my friends? We're back to the part 2 of our cooking chicken with lemon and pepper, one of my specialties. And we just cleaned the chicken, and now I'm gonna show you how you properly season the chicken. So here's how it comes, right? As you can see, out of only these 3 pieces of meat, this is all the fat I got out of it. That's really what you don't need to eat. So we're gonna throw this away. Always in the bio trash, people, please. Be responsible as a human being and separate your trash, right? So now we're coming to the cutting part. Chicken also has vertebrae, and what you need to do is feel in with the knife where is the cut between the leg and the rest of the meat. So this is what you do. So you cut one time like that, right? So you see, you just separated them, right? And you could either do it with your hand, but I don't recommend that because that kind of like it's not so precise. So what you do is you do it with the knife. You just cut right there. You see, even though there was bone, I didn't have to cut through the bone because I know exactly where the separation was. So then you cut it open. You cut it, and there goes the chicken. And here, look, some fat that I forgot to cut. Throw it in, it's no problem. And then the next one, cut here, right? And then from the other side. And there it goes. And now we do this one last time. So as I told you, up, other side, and then automatically you will find the proper cutting part. So once this is ready, my friends, you place the chicken inside. Usually I cut it more small, but I'm eating alone this time, unfortunately, so it's not necessary. So what we do is we put all the pieces inside, and it's time to start seasoning the chicken. I make my chicken and pepper with much more season, so I'm gonna show you how many aromas are actually possible to mix in with that. And we're gonna start first with the lemon. So lemon goes off, and many people actually think that when you fry the chicken is the moment to put the lemon. It's actually not, because the chicken, before it's cooked, it has a very higher state of absorbing all the taste as when you're frying it. So you put the lemon before. The best thing to do would be just like to personally just pick up the pieces and just cover them up with lemon, you know. So you just cover them nice and up, you know, the bones too, you know, because the fat isn't even from the bones pretty much. It's the only part where it has a bit of fat. So you just wash it with lemon pretty much. I think 1 lemon is enough for about 6 pieces. More than 6 pieces, more than 700 grams, you definitely need 2 lemons again. And this is very important. You see here, that's kind of like a bone, right? So it's important that you wash the bone personally, you know, because those are kind of like wounds. And yeah, you want to have it washed up as clean as possible. So you spray it personally over the meat. Now, here's the point. Once the chicken has been covered with lemon, it's gonna be like a sponge for all the pulvers that you add up to it. You take this as first. Now this is garlic with perejil. I don't know exactly what you call that in German. Garlic and
Petersilie.
It's like petersilie, exactly. It's a petersilie. So you add that up as first. Don't influence the chicken with a whole bunch of the same flavor, you know. Just add a bit of it. The less amount of what you add, and the more precise that you are with the measurements, the better that it will taste. So then we just added garlic, we just added petersilie, and now we add pepper, because it's lemon pepper chicken. Now pepper, you can add a bit more because it's actually the basic taste. I personally like to have a little bit more of garlic, but that's not really necessary. It's just the way I like it. And now, my ladies and gentlemen, it's time to mix. When you mix the meat, try to fill in your thumbs. Like if you were actually massaging somebody, that's the way you have to massage the meat. You don't push it, you don't pummel it, you don't do anything except move your thumbs throughout the meat and fill in the places where you see maybe there's a bone or there's an opening. You have to fill in those places with this taste, right? You don't take the whole meat and massage it. You take every piece and massage it, you know? By the way, this is the first time that I'm cooking without music, because even where I work, like my chef actually had to like write in the contract that I'm allowed to play music in the kitchen, because I just said, hey, I can't do it. I can't work without music. So that's another thing. So once you actually do it, you're gonna take a look at it, and as you can see, it looks a bit unbalanced. It looks more like a little bit more is missing from the seasoning, and it's a bit white. So what you do is you add a bit more. You season it by the rounds. You don't season it all the season that you believe is gonna be good for it. You try to season it and then look at the color of the meat until you feel like you're satisfied with how much season there's inside. Don't just throw a whole bunch of pulver in it and then just say it's ready. No, that's not the way it works. And knowing how much seasoning you like on your meat, then you should also tell yourself how much it needs. Now, since the seasoning is the same that I added before, Now it's okay to massage the whole meat together. Thank you very much. So my people, the seasoning is ready. The onions are cut. I'm just waiting for the oil to warm up, right? So then my good people, it's time for the soya. It's very important. It gives a very unique taste to the chicken. Now, since the oil is hot, the first thing you put in are the onions. Thank you, Ben. Do not let the onions fry until they burn. Make sure you don't take too long until you put the meat. This time, actually, I would have waited longer, but because I'm actually not frying only the chicken, I'm actually making a stew, which adds up tomato sauce to it. It's actually chicken, pepper, and lemon as a stew, you know? So you see this sauce that's left there? You're gonna need it later, and I'm gonna explain to you how. Is you add a little water in here. About that much, maybe a bit more. About that much water, and you leave it there. You will need it later. I'll explain to you when. Before you let the chicken start frying, you make sure that the oil is catch from both sides. So all you gotta do is turn it around. So that's pretty much it for now. You make some space on the sides and you let this fry. Okay, so my good people, as you can see, the chicken now has more whiteness, but the sweebel is getting, the water from the sweebel is pulling up and it's getting much thinner, you see? So once you see the meat is actually being cooked to the white a bit, then that's the point. And once you see that the oil has mixed up well, but now it's kind of like burning in, that's the point where you go like this. You put the water inside. But I just added a little bit of water. Don't add too much. Always let the water fry first with the chicken so that the chicken can be fried right. Don't add the whole water from the beginning just because it's burning. Add a little bit of water and let it dry up, and then add a little bit more. And now, once I added that, now this, my friends, is the perfect time to add the salt. It will be mixed with the water, and it will have a good overall balance over the food. Like, you don't add salt anyways after you cook, you always add salt in between, and when you put the water inside to cook the meat, that's exactly the perfect time to add the salt. I don't want to make it too salty. By cooking, it's always better to try something small and taste before you just put too much. So you just put a little bit and you let it fry. Well, now it's the point where I see that the chicken is pretty much fried up to the point where I want it to, and I can add all of the water. But I'm gonna let it a bit longer just for the taste of it. Now it's time to wash the rice. Usually you just make like that and you leave it like that. It's gonna suck, all the kaugummi is gonna come up. Always clean, very important for the cook. Alright my friends, so we're back to the last step of the cooking pepper and lemon chicken as a stew with tomato sauce, which is the flavor that I exquisitely chose for this time. Now as you can see, the chicken has pretty much cooked. It's pretty more brown. That's where you add the tomato sauce. Right? Add it all up. And I want to make this a bit spicy. So that's also when you add habanero. One. Oh wait, that takes a bit of time, I guess. Wait. Okay, that's enough. And now you stir it up. Now, what you do, you put the fire down and you cover it. 1 2/4 to 1 3/4 of what you do in rice, you have to add in water. And now I already added the salt, a little bit olive oil, also not too much. And now the rice will cook. I stir it up a little bit without touching the rice, just over the water. So my ladies and gentlemen, after about 20 minutes of cooking, the food is completely ready. It's looking real fresh. The sauce is really good. My friend Ben, he just said that the sauce is good, so I know it's not only on my taste buds. And this is pretty much what comes out. Rice with chicken and pepper and tomato sauce. Yep. Here it was, Mr. C.Notez cooking rice and chicken. Catch you next time.